Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of Stage Side Podcast. Today's guest, we have Ira and Austin from the band Movements. How's it going, guys?
What's up,
What's
Ryan?
up?
Not
Yeah,
much.
how
Just
you doing,
glad to
Ryan?
get you on.
Yeah, we're stoked to do this, man. We're stoked to do this.
Yeah.
So, like I was telling you before we started, I caught you guys opening for Census Fail. It was actually April Fool's Day 2017 in Salt Lake. I don't know if you guys know, but you also opened for Young Jeezy at the Complex.
Yeah, that venue always has multiple shows going on when we're playing.
Yeah, I think one time we also we played and Getter was playing. And it was right when like a Saw Dude was so everyone was saying it.
Do you know
and
who
it
Getter
was
is, Ryan?
hilarious.
I know. So I've heard one song he has with Oliver Tree,
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
and I've heard that one. That one's pretty good. I got a buddy who's big time into that scene.
Mhm.
And I sent him that song. He was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen Getter live. I know all about him, but not too deep." But so you guys do rap and EDM shows then, huh?
Yeah, of
Apparently
course.
so.
Yeah. Well, it's just I think in Salt Lake there's such limited venues to play. Like the Complex is like the only venue we played besides
Kilby.
Yeah,
besides
Kilby Court.
Kilby, yeah, which
Yeah.
I mean is a venue, I guess.
It's like almost a venue, but I love it there.
Let's dive into that because the time you guys played on Kilby, that was your headlining tour, which you guys sold out, I believe, every date, if not every date, almost every
Yeah.
single one.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
close.
That was the show where Pat was unable to make it. What was that like playing a show without your singer?
We were definitely nervous, but that show was fine though, because it's like such an intimate like environment. Like everyone was like coming up, singing, crowd surfing. I think we had like some guy sing Colorblind, and he actually killed it. It was really cool. It was a lot of fun. I was definitely like nervous about doing it, and we were like, okay, well, we get that it's not like your normal experience. You can refund your ticket or whatever. We gave people the option. I think only 2 people did. So
Yeah, I think that's what I was most scared for was like people refunding their tickets. You know what I mean? It's like we didn't really know if anyone would give a fuck about coming to see us without Patrick, but a lot of people did. So it was very sick. We had people in like Can't Swim do songs, and who else? And Super whatever do songs. Like it was so fucking cool, man. It was probably one of the most memorable shows that I remember playing.
Yeah, from a
Yeah.
fan standpoint, it was great because I know you also had Kurt do a song,
Yep.
and then
yeah.
you guys FaceTime Pat in, and I think
Yeah,
it
we
was
did.
I think it was the fan that killed it on Colorblind, where Pat told him to come back up and start Daylily.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah,
it's so and Austin and I had mics, and like we are so not comfortable with mics. And it was so awkward, but everyone was really cool, man. That was a great show.
Good. I'm
Yeah.
glad it worked out. And like you said, yeah, when I heard the singer wasn't going to be there, Pat, it's like, all right, this would be interesting, but
Totally.
let's go. Like, it's going to be a good show no matter what. They'll figure something out. And you guys definitely pulled it off.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
cool, man. It was cool.
It's
I would do
definitely
it again.
something that doesn't happen very often. So it almost made it a little bit more of a special show. Like I sometimes like those shows where it all just goes wrong. They for some reason sometimes.
But
feel
shout out to
less
Pat. We like when
memorable.
Pat's there.
Oh, we definitely like when Pat's
we
there
definitely
because
like it more, but
all Austin and I have to do when Pat's there is just play our instruments. So
And
That's
you guys
very nice.
seem pretty tuned in. I mean, obviously all artists are, but it seems like you guys get pretty technical when you're playing live. And I guess from a non-musician standpoint, how technical are the songs that you guys are writing and playing, whether it be on the guitar or on the bass?
man, that's such a hard question to answer. I feel like it's so skewed. Austin. Like I feel like
It
everyone has a
super
different
depends on
level of like
yeah.
what they think is hard and difficult. I think the songs are hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you
I
think,
would say
Austin? I think they're fucking hard.
yeah, I think it's like technical to a way of like, like a lot of bands, like, let's say guitar, for instance, like, oh, we'll play power chords, we'll do this and that. And we decide to make it hard on ourselves and never play power chords and things. So I'd say over time we've definitely gotten more technical, and I would say the
Yeah, especially
drums.
for No Get Left to Give has gotten
Yeah,
very technical. So it should
yeah,
be interesting to play that live.
yeah, and I think
Because
the
I mean, Feel
drums
Something
are
is
the
more just like one guitar and like more of like a jam band record. When like No Good Left to Give is just has like fucking a million guitars on it. So we'll see how
yeah.
that works.
Yeah, and the playthroughs that you all released via YouTube, that's kind of what sparked that question for me because when you listen to a song, there's always songs that you think this song's not long enough, or man, that went by too quick. I like that song so much. I
Totally.
wish it was longer. When I watched the playthroughs that you all put out, it almost gave me anxiety. It was like, how can you play a song this long? Like just focusing on the one instrument for each video. I was like, this is insane that someone can remember. Obviously, like I said, I'm not a musician. I can't really play anything, but I appreciate the music. And I was just watching. I was like, I don't know how someone can do this for so long. And it just looked like such a difficult task from my end. So I think that those videos help highlight just the technicality of what you guys are playing on this new record.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
awesome, man. Yeah, I think the goal is to make a long song feel short and a short song feel long. So
It's a good goal. That works.
that's always the goal.
Now, you guys, you put out, 3 singles before Outgrown Things?
Outgrown Things. I'm trying to remember what we even did for that record. I think.
Well, I'm saying, so before that, you had Protection, Buried, and Script.
Oh, yeah,
The
yeah,
demos.
yeah. Okay, the demos, yeah.
And then I read, I'm not sure if it's true or not, I read you guys got signed after only like your first or second show.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Because we put out it was like the beginning of like 2015. We put out, I believe, on like the first of the year, the first year we filmed a video for Protection, and then we put it out like 2 weeks later or something like that. And the funny story is actually Fearless Records, I think, was who we ended up signing to, was the first person to hit us up. And they sent us like an email like a week after we put out that video, but then we didn't see it for a month because we didn't check our email. But yeah, they hit us up like really like right off the bat, and they're like, all right, we just want to see you play a show, like can you pull this off live? And they came and saw the show and they loved it, and then that's pretty much it.
So it was almost sort of a showcase then. They seen the video, or they just heard the song and then asked you to play a show?
Yeah, we were already playing a show with Have Mercy. That was our first show, which is really cool, at Chain Reaction in Anaheim. And yeah, so we already had that booked, and they're like, yeah, we'll see you there. And we were like, oh, that's crazy. A lot of pressure now. But it was awesome.
So can you take us through, obviously that show went well and you guys signed. What were the next 3 to 6 months like after you had the deal and knew, okay, this is going to take off? I'm assuming much quicker than you expected. I know a lot of bands don't get signed after 1 or 2 shows.
Yeah, we had really no idea what to really think of it. We were just like, oh, that's crazy that you want to sign us. And then they're kind of like, do you want to do a whole album? Like, we want you to record this summer. Do you want to do an EP, whatever? And we're like, wow, you want us to record in the summer? That at that point it was maybe April or May by the time we signed. So we were like, oh, that's only that's only like 2 or 3 months. Like, we can't do a whole album. And we didn't want to put out, like, re-record any of the other songs. So we're like, yeah, let's just do an EP, which became Outgrown Things. And then we did that. And then right off of recording that, we did like a 2-week tour on the East Coast. And then, yeah, I don't know. Honestly, ever since that point, like ever since those, like we recorded Outgrown Things and started touring, like we kind of didn't stop until, obviously now.
Yeah, you guys hit the ground running. Like I said, the first time I seen you was April 2017. And I think I've seen you guys maybe 5 or 6 times since then. One of them was the last Warped Tour.
We've been going hard.
Or not the last Warped Tour in Salt Lake. It seemed like I said, you guys hit the ground running and just been playing nonstop. Now, the Have Mercy show, were you guys just like a regional ad to that show? That you weren't on that tour, correct?
Yeah, we weren't on the tour. I think the tour was Have Mercy, Weatherbox, and Head North.
Okay.
And then, yeah, they just added us on as like the opening slot to that show.
At what point did you notice? Obviously, the label had interest right away. At what point did you notice everything really start taking off with the fans, I guess, nationwide, as far as touring and seeing more of the reaction when you were playing shows out here in Salt Lake or in the Midwest or farther east outside of your regional area? When did you notice the takeoff?
I mean, I would say, honestly, after Warped Tour 2017, I think that's when I like, we had like our fans and stuff, and there was always people that knew the music, but I think that was the tour that afterwards I was like, wow, we actually do have a good following throughout the United States.
Yeah, I think every tour it just got bigger and bigger. I wasn't a part of the Outgrown Things,
Right.
but Movements didn't really start touring nationwide like heavily until Outgrown Things was out, until I was in the band. So yeah, I think every tour, man, it was just like you could see the growth, like even from like that $5 tour we did with Real Friends to like Census Fail, like you saw crazy growth. So yeah, Austin's right. I think Warped Tour was just like that 2018 Warped Tour. We were like, holy shit, like we're like shit's like going well. And then it's just kind of been on this crazy incline ever since,
Yeah, the fan reception has always been crazy. Like I said, at least here in Salt Lake. Even when you guys, I believe it was the 2017 Warped Tour, we were saying you played the Full Sail stage earlier before we started recording. And that stage was like, when you guys played, it was just crazy. It was madness. It was backed up against a pavilion. So half the crowd was like under
Trying
a
to remember
pavilion.
that
There were little
show.
pits breaking out.
That's sick.
And it was just nuts. Now, Ira, you joined the band after Outgrown Things, but obviously you toured that record. What was that
I'm
like?
actually in the photo on the record too. Very funny.
Yeah, so that's the thing. If you open the gatefold here, like it has you in there as Movements.
It's a crazy story, man. That picture, that photo was taken by Max Moore, who's done like 3 or 4 of our videos. That was taken in front of the house that we shot the Worst Wishes music video at. And that was about 2.5 weeks after I met all of them. Barely knew them.
So just jumped right into it then.
It was crazy.
Pretty
man.
much, yeah.
It was fucking crazy. It honestly was like, they're fucking crazy. Like they didn't know me, and like they just kind of rolled with it, and it worked out.
So how long before you started touring did you join the band?
Well, because that was like
Austin,
in the
2 months.
That was in like
2.5
the
months.
fall. Yeah, something like that.
I joined in 2015. I joined October 2015. I want to say, right? Does that sound about right, Austin?
Yeah. I think it was. Yeah, it was around like October or November, somewhere
and
around
I think
there.
I think that $5 Real Friends tour was in 2016, like early 2016, or maybe.
Yeah, that was the spring. Spring. Yeah.
2016. So maybe like 3 or 4 months. But I like joined the band, and then 2 weeks later was on the plane with Spencer, flying to Kentucky to shoot the music video for Kept and Worst Wishes.
Were you just? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I barely knew him. It was crazy, man.
Were you cramming the whole time to learn the songs? Like, was it something? So I had a buddy who, he was a metal vocalist back east, and then he filled in for a band for a tour. And he told me he just walked around 24/7 with headphones in just to learn every nuance of the song. Were you just practicing nonstop?
Not really. That part was super, like when I like got the initial like, oh, like, Movements wants to try you out. I like learned all the songs, and then I found out that they weren't really looking for me to like learn the songs. They just wanted to like hear. They're looking for a long-term member, obviously. So they wanted to hear me write shit and what I've written. So I was more focusing on just like writing than learning the songs. Learning the songs was easy. Yeah, it was cool, man. It was cool. I just remember trying out. It was funny.
Yeah, I think because that was our thing with you know, like we created like a sound and stuff like that with Outgrown Things, and we wanted to, you know, further upon that. So we wanted someone that could write similarly. Like we weren't really worried about finding a guitar player, you know, is like we need someone to help us write and stuff. So we tried like maybe 3 or 4 people, and the first thing we did was like you know, learn one song and then also like write something and we'll jam it. And so I think Ira came to the table with what ended up being the
A couple of
intro
things, man.
to the Gray, right?
Yeah, my initial audition was like with the Gray, which is so crazy. It's on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually
And I think
surprised. It's
I
like kind of
think
crazy.
I want to say like I want to say Full Circle was a part of that in some way. I don't know. Maybe
It was
not.
pretty short. It was pretty short afterwards, I feel like.
You could just, it was so funny. I played some of my riffs and like all their eyes just fucking lit up. Like they were like in a candy store. It was amazing.
It was definitely it was a fit.
It was
from
cool,
the
man.
start.
It's like a match made in heaven, honestly. Like it was perfect. Like they were doing what I wanted to do musically, and like I was doing what they wanted to do musically. It was just perfect, man.
Yeah, it sounds like it was much more collaborative than the traditional tryout of, hey, learn our songs, play it. It was more, what can you bring to the band?
Yeah, it was just like, let's jam. Like, let's see what we can, what the vibe is together. And it was perfect. I mean, granted, it's not just like the music aspect of things that you have to worry about, which is something that I don't think any of us really thought about, was just like personalities mixing and stuff like that, which is, we're super fucking lucky that we all meshed together very well. But I could have easily been crazy, you know what I mean? And they wouldn't have known that. So yeah, they took a fucking risk for sure.
Well, it paid off.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure, man. It did. It was just crazy. It was like just you know, I feel like to be introduced to so many people like at that stage in your life is so unique, because like if you think about it, it's like I got introduced to these 4 new people and then all of their friends and all their friends, and it was like that stuff. Like I feel like you meet a lot of people in high school, and like after high school it's kind of like you don't really meet a ton of people after that, you know what I mean? And I was just like introduced to like all these new fucking people, and like I don't know, it was just a lot. It was a lot to handle at first, you know, but it's chill now.
Like I said, it seemed to work right away. I guess that's kind of a theme with the band, just things taking off right away and working the way they should. So that leads us into Outgrown Things, or I'm sorry, Feel Something rather, from Outgrown Things. What was the process like? You recorded that with Will Yip as well as you did Outgrown Things. What was the process like writing and recording that? From how long did you guys spend writing, jamming the songs, tweaking everything to the time you flew out to Pennsylvania to record with Will?
I mean, it was pretty much in one word, stressful.
Very, very stressful.
I mean, because we were still like touring and stuff. We were writing in the van and stuff like that for Feel Something. And, you know, for Outgrown Things and Feel Something, our mentality for writing those records was, let's all be in a room together and let's jam out every part and kind of just like write it as like a live band. Like we didn't really do too many like we couldn't really do too much pre-production that gave anything justice. So we didn't really have the gear at the time. So it was definitely a crazy process. I feel like that made it more stressful is the fact we couldn't just go and listen back to everything. We kind of just would jam it out, be like, hey, we like this or we don't like this. Like, we don't know if it's good or not. We just have shitty phone recordings of everything.
Yeah,
So,
I have video recordings of us like writing Deadly Dole. I vividly remember riding Full Circle in the van, like on the Real Friends tour. Like, it was weird. I feel like a lot of it, I was trying to like emulate what Movements was already, because I had never because I was just trying to emulate what it was and just kind of elevate it. And that's what I kind of feel when I Feel Something. That's what I see it as. but yeah, I mean, Austin's right. We jammed a lot of that record. A lot of it was like written in a room jamming, which is cool. I mean, that's not how No Good Left to Give is, and they're both different in great ways.
That's what I was going to ask when you said that you all were writing on tour. If it was, voice memos or video recordings of what you were playing. So did you guys just came back with a ton of videos and audio files and just try to recreate that or tweak it however for the actual recording process then? Play it through again?
Yeah, I think for some, because we did like towards like the end of the writing process for that record, go to a friend of ours and actually kind of do some better demos and pre-production. Like I think from that we had like
Sure.
Deep Red, Daylily, Full Circle, and something else. So like those ones had good recordings, but most of them didn't. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy to think about the inconsistency of.
Yeah, but we're lucky that
the
Will can hear like a shitty recording and see the vision of it.
Yeah.
No matter how shitty it is, it could just be like me just playing on a voice memo, and he could see the final vision of it, which is really cool.
Yeah, and he because what we do like the first, a couple days to a week that we're in the studio, we get together all in like his live room, just instruments at first, and then he does the vocals later. But we kind of just like go through the song and work on the structure and stuff like that in a live setting all together, and so we get like a pre-production version of like what it's going to be. So that definitely helps a lot as far as like hearing everything out, and that was a big deal for me with Feel Something. Like hearing those songs really honestly for the first time recorded well was kind of crazy.
Yeah, the album came out amazing, and again, that was one when you guys played it right away, instant positive reception, people knowing the songs, from the singles that were released. When you go to record with Will, how long were you there for?
3 weeks for Feel Something. It was like that. It was like way too fast. So rushed. It felt, I guess it didn't feel like crazy rush, but it was for sure rushed. I mean, you need more time with the record.
It was freezing too, and
it was so cold.
Pat got sick too. It was a little rough.
That's what I was going to ask you guys, because you're both from California, correct?
Yeah, all of us. Yeah.
How was it spending 3 weeks? Because Will's studio, I believe, is right outside of Philly.
Yeah.
So how was that spending time? Again, touring, you guys are a little more crunched for time. How was it to have 3 weeks out on the East Coast? Did you guys get to go do anything, or?
The town that Will's studio is at is very cool. There's like a lot of good restaurants. Like the main street that his studio is on is like just like almost like picturesque. I don't know. We went to the city a few times. I mean, I don't think a lot of it you're just in the studio,
Yeah, I think for that record we didn't do too much else because it was like I think February or January when we recorded Feel Something, and it was snowing. It was so cold. Like I don't know if we even had a car.
No, we didn't, because we stayed at, Will had like, I don't think he does anymore, but he had an apartment for like bands to stay like on the same block. So it was just like you'd walk to the studio, it'd take you a minute to get there, and then that's kind of like how you lived your life for 3 weeks. It was just at studio.
I think we would like Uber around for things.
Now the second record, No Good Left to Give, we had a car, we had more of a budget, so that was cool.
How long were you out there for the second record?
A little over 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of shit done. It was very sick.
I would say I think Feel Something we wrote a lot of it beforehand, and I think this we came into it with like a lot more songs, but a lot of it came together more in the studio, which was kind of interesting. But it turned out so good. Like, I think before we were almost like underutilizing Will with like Feel Something, and I think with this record, we kind of treated him as like a fifth member, and and that was awesome.
Yeah, Matt from Citizen on the last episode, he said Will has that quality of being able to pull pull the greatness out of everybody a little
For
more
sure.
than what they've already done. He'll push you to do, give it to me again, give it to me again. And then Matt was saying he'll have all these takes, and if the artist doesn't like that one, then Will's like, well, I got you covered because I had you do this. And he kind of helps drive that creative process. Again, not taking away from the band, but just tweaking it just to that next level and putting his touch on it that he's done with countless releases in the scene.
Yeah, it's about the environment too. Like when you're there, it feels just like you're just like writing music with your homies, you know, like rather than like you're doing something, you know what I mean? Like it just feels so natural. It feels just so easy, and fun, you know.
Yeah,
Like
no,
especially during like the pre-production process with Will, it's like we're in the live room and we're jamming the songs, and he's like, all right, he comes in the live room and like we're like, okay, let's try this, like let's just write a new fucking chorus for this, and like we work it out, take a couple hours, and we just do it, and it's just fun, man. Like we just have a good time, and it's not stressful, which is like so sick.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like on top of the world at the end of writing that last record. Like we were saying, like we were just like getting all cocky. We were just like, I'm pretty sure we can turn anything into gold. Like we were
Yeah, it
just
was cool,
every
man.
day we would just like really like we tore some of those songs apart. Like if you listen to like the pre-pro of some of them, you're like, wow, this is hardly even the same song. You know, I think one of Ira and I's favorite tracks ended up, it was like it had like this really big chorus and all this stuff, and then we ended up like whittling it down and doing this really different sounding chorus to the song,
Yeah.
and it changed
The song's called
everything.
Living Apology on the record.
Yeah, I think that's both our favorite songs on the record.
It was funny because we heard like the pre-production from it like after, because like Pat and Will do their thing pre-production wise, and then we'll kind of listen to it, and like we were all just kind of like, damn, like we need something like just different on this record that's like not just such like this huge chorus, like going from like this like smaller verse into this bigger chorus. Like we just wanted to change it up, and like we just like flipped that song upside down, and it was like the best decision.
Yeah,
it was sick.
It just felt so natural to do it too, because like we were kind of like, we heard it and we're all like, I don't know if this song's gonna make the record or not. Like we're not stoked on it, and then we go out to like start working on it, and then we're like, you know what? We can come back to this. We have this. Let's try something different. And then we just, I don't even know how is that the chorus that we came up with? You know, like it's kind of crazy to think about that we just wrote that. It's very.
I wish you had the record, Ryan. I wish you. I know, like, there's people that have the record, right? That like review it before it comes out and shit. So
I'll have to find out how to get on that list. I have it pre-ordered.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you got to get on that list. You got to get the records before they come out.
Yeah, I have a vinyl and a CD copy pre-ordered, but I'll still, the midnight release on Apple Music, I'll still burn through that until the physical copies get here.
Very sick.
With the writing process for each song, do you guys have a set formula for every song? As far as the whole band, does Pat come with lyrics? Does Spencer come with a drum line?
I think not. I feel like 90% of it, it's pretty set as far as like the process goes. Sorry, hold on. I feel like Austin, we start with guitar, right? I mean, I feel like I just write a riff and I bring it to the table and I'm like, oh, like, what do you guys think of this? And then everyone's either like, this sucks, or like, this is cool. And then we build off of that. And then, like we just write basically the whole song with just guitar. And then me and Austin will write the bass for it, and then Spencer will write the drums for it, and then we'll have just the music for it, and then we'll give it to Patrick, and then Patrick will take it and put vocals on it, right? I mean, that's pretty much what the process is.
Yeah, it usually starts with like some sort of riff, and I mean, especially for older albums, it always started with the guitar riff. Like that's why I feel like a lot of those songs would always start with, here's this guitar riff for like 30 seconds, then here's the whole band, because that's kind of how they were written. Yeah. And then this record,
a lot of Feel Something is like that. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, Ryan, but like a lot of it starts with just guitar. Like
Yeah.
it'll just
Yeah.
be a guitar riff before anything comes in, and like that's what Austin's talking about.
And
It's
then
like, we definitely tried to avoid that on No Good Left to Give.
is not do that anymore. I mean, is there one that just starts out like that?
No.
I don't think so.
And on Feel Something, Deep Red. So Austin, I know you told me on Feel Something you played bass and then baritone guitar on some of the songs rather. For Deep Red, that's just a straight bass line that it starts out with, correct?
Yeah. So that's on a 4-string. So the only song I used a baritone on for that record was Submerge. So most of that song is, I think there's only guitars really in like the chorus of that song.
So if anybody ever sees Austin switching during the show, because when I seen you guys at the complex, it's like, man, he's switching. Like, I was like, that doesn't look like a bass. It looks like he's playing guitar now. And then you told me after the show, and again, like I said, I'm not a musician. So I was like, oh, okay, it's a whole different style of instrument there. With Deep Red, I mean, that bass line is insane. It jumps out right away. Was there an inspiration behind that? Were you listening to some sort of certain style of music when you wrote that? Or is that just an idea you had, you wanted to come out with, start a song off with a crazy bass line like that?
I think that song started, like the original riff for that song was the ending. If I'm remembering that correctly. I think that was Ira brought that to the table, and like we're like, oh, this is cool. We like, it's like soft and then it gets really hard, and we're like, well, now we have to kind of write a whole song around that. And I think we were just kind of out of ideas, and then we kind of came up with, let's do this like drum and bass sort of thing. And that's kind of where that came from. And it got like solidified, I think, more in like the recording process of what the actual bass line was.
So you basically reversed it from what it started out as.
Yeah, I think that basically. So yeah, it wasn't our intent to just be like, all right, let's do like a drum and bass thing to start out this song. And the song went through a lot of different like changes until it got to where it was at.
And do you find that is the same situation with a lot of your songs? Or because I know you said you start out with the guitar, and then like you were saying when you wrote Feel Something, you tweaked a lot from recording on the road to actually recording, and then No Good Left to Give, you said you broke some songs down completely where you're like, how's this even the same song? Are a lot of your songs that you dive that deep into, or you reverse?
It honestly just depends on.
I feel like it's hard because everyone has a different vision, you know?
Yeah, I'd say more so on this record, a lot of things like the first idea or riff didn't end up being the intro, you know? I'd say like more so on No Good Left to Give than the other records, but like it depends. And, you know, there have been some songs, you know, Daylily and Third Degree, and on the new record, there's a song called Seneca. Those were songs that Pat kind of just wrote on an acoustic guitar and sent us like a voice memo. And so we had all the vocals ahead of time. And then we're like, all right, now how do we elevate this, you know? And we love doing that too.
We love when Pat just like brings something to the table, because then we have something to build off of instead of like having to create something from scratch. So it just makes it a little bit of a different process for us, which is cool.
Speaking of acoustic, you did the Catacomb Sessions version of Hatchet.
Yeah.
Is there going to be any more acoustic versions of stuff?
That's so funny you said that. There is actually. Yeah, there is. We're doing some cool shit actually at Catacomb Sessions.
I think we announced it yesterday.
Yeah, we're gonna do some stuff there.
Yeah, we're gonna do a live stream on Friday.
The one that you're doing on Twitch, then.
Yeah, that's at Catacomb Studios, which is really cool. We really love that studio.
Will those songs be released after the Twitch session? Will they be released onto streaming services, or will they at least live on Twitch? Will the recording be up on Twitch?
They'll live somewhere for sure.
Yeah, okay. we haven't really decided quite yet, honestly.
Yeah.
We're just kind of more focused on like, let's get this like live performance together, and then we've like, it's been brought up like, hey, maybe we should also, you know, record this for, you know,
Spotify or
Yeah,
whatever, wherever we're
Spotify
gonna
or
put
something.
this.
I don't know. Yeah, we haven't really thought about it too much, to be honest.
But to answer your question, yeah, we're definitely doing that again, which is so funny. It's like right around the corner.
Yeah.
That's perfect. I'm looking forward to it. I always like hearing the different takes on songs, whether it be acoustic or live, just how they go over.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool, man. Austin's gonna be playing acoustic guitar, and I'll be playing like electric leads and stuff. So it'll definitely be different from what that Catacomb session was. And Spencer will be doing some weird stripped down kit, not just like the cajon. So it'll be cool. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Well, good. So am I. And speaking of, we have No Good Left to Give coming out this week. How excited are you guys for this?
Dude, I'm so excited. Like, it's so crazy. Like, I remember the feeling I had when Feel Something came out, and like, it's such a better feeling this time. Like, I'm so much more proud of this record. I don't think any of us thought Feel Something was going to be like as popular as it was. It kind of like blew our minds a little bit. But we have pretty high expectations for No Good Left to Give.
Yeah.
I'm so excited, man.
I agree. Like, yeah, I think like this record, like just by the end of the process, and like, you know, even while we were in the studio hearing the, you know, our like half live versions and everything, I was just like, this record is just unbelievably good. Like, I am
Yeah,
like
we stepped it up for
personally
sure.
a huge fan of it. So
I feel like
I'm
the
so
3
excited
years
for
off,
people to hear it.
the 3 years off really shows. Like I feel like you can really hear the progression.
Definitely.
And the 3 singles that you've released so far sound incredible. And you can even hear the progression in those. Don't Give Up Your Ghost. That one, that was like a fun song because it had the build up and it just kind of changed. It would change the sound. You'd be expecting one thing and then it would, you know, completely flip on you, and not in a negative way either. It was, you
Yeah,
could
I
tell
mean,
the
some
band was
people
doing
probably
something
think it is
different.
in a negative way. I mean, we did that deliberately. We wanted to make a statement with that song, like, and put that song out first because we wanted people to be like, "What the fuck."
Yeah.
We didn't want to go with your typical single that is just as similar as possible to Feel Something. We wanted it to be as different as possible to Feel Something. And we kind of wanted people to be like, what the fuck is going on? What are they doing? So I think we definitely accomplished that for sure. But I think the 3 singles like show the entire record in such a great way. Like they're all so different from each other, and it's just like shows every different side of the record, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely differ, but again, in a good way, in a cohesive way. It still has that movement sound. In one of the videos you released on YouTube, you were saying Skin to Skin, you wrote the guitar kind of as like a joke, and you took it to the guys and you didn't think it would be.
We were in my room. We were in my room, and we were all 4 here writing another song. I don't even remember what song we were writing.
It was Seneca.
We were writing Seneca.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like Austin was like doing something on the computer, and like Pat was like helping him with that, and then like I was over in the corner just like kind of just fucking around like on my computer, and then I just like wrote that like lead riff in the verse, and like I was like, they're just gonna fucking hate this. Like it's so weird, you know, because if you listen to that riff like by itself, like no rhythm behind it, like nothing, like it sounds like it's fucking weird. And then I kind of was just like showing them, and like everyone was like, that's fucking cool. And we wrote that song very fast. It's so funny how some songs like you write so fast, like you'll write in like a fucking like 10 minutes. Some songs take just like I'm not kidding, like a year to write.
Are there any songs on this upcoming release that either didn't make the cut or just started with Feel Something but weren't where they should have been to be released?
No.
Yeah. There's like there's some guitar parts that like there's one guitar part
that's actually true, yeah,
that like was on a song that was supposed to be on Feel Something that got cut, that we have the recording of, but like we just have never put it out. We will never put it out because we all hate it. So that song will forever just be recorded and just buried somewhere. So there's a riff off of that that's in the new record. But besides that, not really. There was a song that we wrote like almost 2.5 years ago that got brought back up when we got into the studio that is now on the record, which is kind of crazy that we kind of just all forgot about and was like, this is just not good and will help us make it amazing. But besides that, no, I don't think there's really anything that was a song that was supposed to be for Feel Something, right, Austin?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's that riff for sure was the only thing that was like an old idea. Like, I mean, on Feel Something, we pretty much exhausted like all the songs we brought to the table pretty much made the record except for one. So there wasn't, then maybe a couple riffs here and there, but like there just wasn't really a whole lot of material for that record. I think we went into that with so there's 11 songs, yeah, like 12 ideas. And then this record, we went into it with like 17 ideas. So maybe
Cool,
possibly on LP3 we'll see some things that we didn't use for No Good Left to Give, because there is so much more content.
Yeah, and it was also cool, like with this record, Patrick actually flew out to Will like multiple times for to work on vocals. So it's always cool to like, you hear these songs musically like 1,000 times, and then to get them back with vocals, like it's just like hearing them for the first time again, which is so cool. You can kind of step outside of that bubble that you're in. So we got to do that a ton of times on almost every song on this record. And I'm so glad that Pat flew out there multiple times to work on shit with Will, because they create magic, which is cool.
Yeah, and it's cool to hear it like that too. I think because you're right, Ira. It's like, also especially on Ghost, like that song. That's the song that really got flipped around a lot as far as like what's the chorus, what's the verse, what's what, and parts got taken out. And so it really was like hearing that song for the first time. And, at first I actually hated that song. Like I heard it and I was like, ooh, I don't like this song, but like I kind of like it. And then out of like the songs we got back from that writing session, that was the one that just stuck in my head. And I kept being like, wow, that song was like something different. And it ended up being like my favorite one in the end. So, I think was a huge reason for putting it out first, is that we wanted the people to kind of be thrown off by it,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it worked coming out as the first single, because again, it was different. It did get people talking, and it did set the tone of, okay, expect something new from Movements on this record. Not that there wasn't anything new from Outgrown Things to Feel Something, but it was just, you could, as you said earlier, Ira, you could hear the progression, and you could see you guys weren't trying to make Feel Something 2.0. And just to be clear, when I was asking if anything rolled over, I didn't mean like a leftover song you just threw on. I always ask because, so Noel Gallagher from Oasis, he now has his solo project for the past few years, Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, and he has a song, Lock All the Doors. And I watched an interview, and he said that he had that chorus for roughly 25 years. He was like, I put that chorus in an Oasis demo that didn't really do anything. And he was like, but I knew that chorus had something to it. He was like, so every time we tried it with Oasis, it didn't work. And he's like, eventually, 25 years later, I got it to stick with something. So it's cool to hear that, like, like you said, a riff lived off of a song that, and by the way, you probably drove people crazy knowing that there's a Movement song buried.
Oh, I know I did. Yeah.
Never come out of the vault.
There is a Movement song out there that no one will ever hear.
Yeah. People are going to go crazy.
Yeah. It will never come out. Like literally, it will never come out. Oh, Austin.
No, there's no way. It's just not a good song. I mean, like, thing is, like, it's recorded professionally, which is cool. It's just a bad song.
Yeah.
Except for the ending was cool, so we took a riff from it.
You gotta take what you need and use it.
Exactly.
Speaking to the release of Don't Give Up Your Ghost, and I asked Matt the same question. I'm always interested in, as a fan, how much thought collectively from the band goes into the sequencing, track listing of how the songs are put on the album, and how much control do you guys have over the release of the singles?
A lot, yeah.
All of it. 100%.
It's a lot of
it's
different
our
talks.
decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely, the process after recording was definitely interesting between the four of us. There was definitely some fights for sure. As far as
the
sequencing
mixing
goes,
yeah.
mixing, everything. Like especially between me and Austin, the sequencing was a big issue. And it's when you look back on it now, it's so small, and like when you're in the moment, it feels so big, like it matters so much. When in all reality, like what me and Austin were arguing over for sequencing was like literally one song switching with the other. And I think either way it probably would have been fine. But yeah, no, we have it's our decision, you know?
So do you all take all the songs individually? So Pat has all the songs, Spencer has them all, you both have them all, and then you put together your own sequencing, and then you meet together and run through and see what fits where and make changes like that?
I think that's how we kind of did it a little bit more in the past, but ultimately every single time Will just kind of gives us what he thinks it should be. And like especially this time it was kind of we didn't change anything. I think he like gave it to us and we had that argument over like one song, and then he was like, and that was it. And then he was just like, okay, cool. Like we just went with what he decided.
It's important though,
good.
man. It really is. Like
it was really
I feel like
hard.
it can make or break a record.
Yeah, I agree.
It's huge. I think we have the perfect sequencing. I think that it was because Will sent us like 3 different ones, and he was like, this one's really sick. Like you could also do this one, and then there's this one too, and then yeah, I think we made the right choice.
Yeah, it was really hard to find a song 1 for this album. That was definitely.
And then you also have to think about like side A and side B on a vinyl, because like side B starts a whole new. It's like starting a new record almost. You know what I mean? And like what song starts that, and that kind of influences where you put things. So
that's interesting. I always like to ask, especially in not so much in the alternative rock / rock and roll, whatever we want to call this collective scene, but in other genres, it's such a single driven era of music we're in, where, you know, artists will put out a couple songs a month that don't live on the same record. And like you said, Ira, when you get up to flip the record, it's almost a soft reset. And again, sequencing, you have a song that's super heavy or a little more downtrodden and then leads into something super heavy, it can change the entire mood and vibe of the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, man. Yeah, we had some rough times after the record. I kind of hated Austin for a second. But we made up. We're good.
All right, we're glad.
It happens, you know.
You know, I would say like almost the process on this record was less stressful, but then the afterwards of the record was more stressful than the one before.
Yeah.
And with the vinyl, again, I know some bands are completely hands off and they just tell the label whatever you want. How much say do you guys have in the actual color or designs of the pressings?
Everything.
You guys have some pretty sweet pressings.
Yeah.
Like I remember, we get on the phone together and like we spend hours like just going through, like let's try this. Like I think we were on the phone for this record, and like someone downloaded some like vinyl like generator that could like give us like what mock-ups of vinyl, right, Austin?
Yeah.
we do some shit like that.
We were going hard on it.
We went hard. We picked out all the vinyl. We're very hands-on when it comes to like every single thing in this band, and like everything. Like you think of it like
to the point where it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, like management labels, like, you know, not all bands do this, and we're like, yeah, well, we do. So
yeah.
I like that. I appreciate hearing that, because like this feels something is the clear black and purple splatter, which just jumps, and also it plays well with the actual color of the cover. And then Outgrown Things is
that
like,
one's so sick.
Yeah, Outgrown Things is like clear green and milk splatter, and again, it plays perfect with the green font. And so when I know a band has that much input and cares that much, like it's really appreciated from the fan side of things.
Yeah, dude. Everything, merch, like we go hard, man.
Yeah, even the covers,
really do.
Like they're all like our kind of creations. I mean, because you brought up, you know, the green. I don't remember what that variant exactly looks like that you're talking about, but the original pressing, I might have it. But
So it's like a grayish green.
Oh yeah,
oh,
so
okay.
sick.
Yeah, hold on. I have actually a good example to show. Hold on.
I think I might be the only one that like collects every single vinyl that we have.
That's another thing I was going to ask. When you release a vinyl, when you release a vinyl, do you request, like, do you have to buy, or do you request, hey, I want a copy of every variant that comes out?
Yeah, we request it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like for this coming up, for No Good Left to Give, like I asked, like I want like 2 of everything. Yeah. So.
Back to what I was saying, I actually realized I have it hung up on my wall. So if you can see the
The Coke
outgrown
bottle
things
green.
over there, yeah, the Coke bottle green. We actually the color on the cover of the record was picked because it matched that color of the vinyl.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was kind of a funny thing.
They turned out well. Like I said, every pressing I've seen plays off well. Even I think you had the orange feel something up there. It's like orange and black. Is that the
Yeah.
one you had up there? Even
Yeah.
that plays just a little bit of the hue from her shirt on the album.
For sure.
Yeah. That was just like my favorite. I have like all of them, but that was like my favorite one. So I was like, yeah, I'll hang this one up.
You got to make more room for the new pressing coming out.
Yeah, I know.
I know there's a lot of them.
I'm so excited. I don't even know what I'll hang up. I just want to get them in.
I'm looking forward to them. Like I said, I ordered as soon as the pre-orders went up. I put mine in right away, and I was checking the date. I was like, all right, it shouldn't be too long.
I know, man. It's like I can't even believe it comes out next Friday. It's wild.
Yeah.
Like, because we pushed it back. I don't know if you knew that. We pushed the release back of this record. Like the record, this No Good Left to Give was supposed to come out in June. And COVID-19 just destroyed all of that. And we had even talks of like putting this record out next year, which is crazy, which none of us wanted to do, which we obviously didn't do. But we wound up just like meeting in the middle and being like, okay, well, if we're not gonna put it out in June, like, and we're not gonna put it out in January, like, let's just meet in the middle and like we'll put it out in September. I mean, this is all new to everyone, so it's hard to know when the best time to put it out a record is now. You know what I mean? Because you obviously want it as close as you can to like when touring starts again. But no one knows when that's gonna happen. So, fuck it. So we just put it out.
I think it's a good time.
Yeah, I think it's a good time too, man. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like online there's a lot of buzz around it. People are waiting for it, and again, the singles have been received super well.
Yeah, I feel like if we waited longer, people would have like gotten so angry. I feel like people were already getting so angry.
It's pretty true.
Definitely hungry for more music. So to wrap things up here, and again, if you're only listening, we're going to do this portion and then we'll end the audio version, and we're going to stick around. We're going to do a separate video for a YouTube video exclusive where Austin and Ira are going to pick a song from their catalog and dive into it and tell us a little more behind the scenes about that song. So make sure you check that out. But to end off the regular version, same thing I told you guys before we started recording, in effort to have more of the artist pick or, you know, songs you should hear, we want to start with Outgrown Things, and then we'll do Feel Something, and then No Good Left to Give. You guys can combine together, or each of you can give us 2 to 3 songs off of that album. They can be your favorite songs to play live, or just if someone's hearing Movements for the first time, hey, I only got time for 12, 15 songs. What songs should I hear? And again, people will get sick of me hearing me say this if they listen to the podcast enough. When an album comes out, listen in order, front to back, listen to the whole thing.
I agree 100%.
Very much so.
Yeah, once you've done that, or if you're sending to someone new to get them onto the band, this will be the playlist of the songs you should hear.
Yeah, I feel like you and me are pretty like we have the same favorite songs. I feel like pretty similar.
We'll see.
Okay. Well,
I'll let you. Why don't you do Outgrown Things first? I mean, maybe we just pick 2 because the record is only 6 songs.
All 6,
I
but
know.
your 2 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite 2 are Kept and Worst Wishes. Kept is just like fun, man. It's a fun ass song. It's fun to play live. I didn't even write the song, and I think it's fun to play. You know,
Yeah.
that's like the weird. I feel so like out of touch with outgrown things because it's like I didn't write it. You know what I mean? But I played those songs so many times live. But yeah, Kept and Worst Wishes are just fucking fun, man. They're so fun to play live.
Yeah, I think Worst Wishes is my favorite song off that record. So definitely that one. Yeah, I'd pick Kept too, honestly. Like that's
See,
my
man, I
second
knew it.
favorite. That was an easy one.
Yeah, that one's
I
easy.
think the new record it's gonna get a little bit harder, you know.
Feel Something. I know we're gonna have one that's the same.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just say it. Submerge, right?
Yeah, Submerge is my
Yeah.
favorite song on
Submerge
that
is,
record.
yeah. I love that song. I think it's just so different from everything else on that record.
Yeah.
And I just remember writing. That was one of the songs that we wrote in the cabin in Oregon. With that we were like there for like a week. And I remember like
Middle of
being
nowhere.
in the middle of nowhere. I remember like being in the bedroom with Austin, and he was like showing me like this riff on his six, on like that bass six string, and then I wrote that chorus lead over it like on the spot, and we were just like, this is fucking sick. And it was just like we were just vibing from where we were at, so it was really cool. I think that song, I don't know, Third Degree, I think both those songs were actually written up there. Those are probably my two favorite songs off the record.
Yeah. I like Full Circle a lot. That's probably my second. So
I knew that.
I think that's a good combined 3 for that record for sure.
Okay, and then this one's probably going to drive people crazy because all the songs aren't out yet.
Yeah.
Your favorite 2 to 3 off of No Good Left to Give.
Oh God, it's so hard, man. But
Well, Austin and I are for sure favorite song off the record. Both of ours is Living Apology, which is not out yet. That's a song that got flipped upside down in the studio. I think it's probably like the most different song that we have, which is probably why we like it the most. That song's my favorite by far. I think 12 Weeks is up there for me too. Another song that's not out yet. I don't know. They're all so good, man. Tunnel Vision. I fucking love that song. That song's going to be really fun to play live.
yeah. Yeah. See, I knew it was going to be, I think we both agree on that on Living Apology. See, my next favorites are different though. Like, next favorite, I'm going to say the first song on the album, In My Blood, is my next favorite. Also a song that's really weird and different and structurally just really cool. So that would be my number 2, and then number 3, like they're 2 songs, but I kind of consider them one. That's kind of how they were kind of written. But the last 2 songs on their record,
No Good Left to Give and Love's Like the Last of It.
Yeah, that would be my number 3.
Ryan, you got to tell us your favorite song out of any song on our catalog.
Full Circle.
Sick.
Full Circle. I think sonically it's so good, and it sets the tone for everything on the rest of the record. And then lyrically, it's so raw and revealing, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to it. So I definitely relate to it because I'm assuming anybody listening has heard the song, but if you haven't, it's the good time, the bad time, everything comes full circle. Not to be, a pun, but
totally.
And then even the part where it's almost a little bit of that spoken word that Pat does, like it just feels so raw and emotional and open. But again, even just sonically, even if you took the lyrics out, like that's one of those songs where it could stand on its own as just a spoken word, or it can stand as just an instrumental. But I think that's my favorite one. And then if I had to go to Outgrown Things, I'd do Kept. I think Kept is my favorite one off of there. And then so far, off the 3 singles from No Good Left to Give, Skin to Skin, I love it. It almost reminds me, and I seen Pat talking about the overall tone of the song, what it's about. It almost gives me harder Daylily vibes, like an edgier version, not edgier, but like, a little rougher version. Like a little rougher version of the content in Daylily.
Oh, Oh,
Oh.
you almost got him back.
Uh,
Yeah, I can kind of see that. That's cool.
I don't know.
Not sonically, just the overall content. It feels like it's more of that side. I'm excited to hear the entire album. Like I said, when it comes out, I'll be on midnight Apple Music, streaming through the whole thing back to back.
Yeah, well, you'll have to
I'll
you'll have
follow
to
up.
like yeah, you got to let us know what your new favorite is after that.
And I'm excited to hear, especially like I said, after hearing what the artists like, because sometimes there's albums that artists put out and they absolutely love a song that may not be a single, and then once you hear the artist talk about it or once you hear it live, it'll completely change the way that you heard and received the song, and then that can jump up to one of your favorites. So I like the
Yeah,
different outlook on songs from those perspectives.
I think
absolutely.
Austin was actually scared with Skin to Skin, vocally wise, like the lyrical content of it, of just not being what people would normally hear from us. But I really liked it. Like I like
Yeah,
the lyrical content of Skin to Skin.
yeah. I the first time I heard that song, I loved it. Like it's definitely. I think those other three are like just mean more to me. But like that song is probably number 4. Like it's just so cool. Like I love the chorus and everything. I always want to do kind of a more dancier beat and stuff in a song. So
The video
yeah.
was pretty fun for it too.
Oh my god, the
Fuck man,
video, dude. Like so
very sick. A
we
nightmare though to like get done like
yeah,
in a
we did
week.
that in a week. We had a different video for it that just was not panning out. We did not like it. And we were working on that video. I mean,
For months.
yeah, months. And we just last minute were like, you know what? Like, this isn't up to our standard. And we just cut it. And then we're like, how do we pull something off within a week now? And
It was fucking crazy.
yeah.
With the outfit changes in the video, Ira, are you the biggest sports fan in the band?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
they don't like sports.
Yeah.
It's like they don't like sports, and I am like obsessed with sports. Yeah,
He likes sports enough for all of us. So,
yeah.
Well, from talking to you all before, I knew Ira was obviously way more into sports than anybody else. And then I seen your jersey, and I was like, all right, he definitely. This wasn't
Yeah.
just a jersey that was handed to him. He definitely made sure he wore his certain
Yeah,
jersey.
that's a signed Aaron Nola jersey, actually, which he's a pitcher on the Phillies. So I was like, I gotta flex a little bit and wear it.
I'm an Orioles fan, and other than Chris Davis, all my jerseys are now outdated. I mean, I got like a Ripken, but all the current players I had are just no longer,
Oh,
just ravaged our whole team.
don't even get me started, man. I like the Orioles too. I do fantasy baseball, so like I know like every player in the league.
Are you doing fantasy football this year or no?
Yeah, I am big time.
I just started a league again obviously it's just starting, but I'm playing and my 11-year-old brother's in it.
Oh, sick.
I lost to him last year, and man, it is brutal. It's
That's the worst.
Who's
That's
your
the
football
worst.
team?
The Rams.
Rams. Okay.
Yeah, the Rams. Yeah.
And I'm obviously Ravens.
That's sick, dude. Lamar Jackson.
It's exciting. And just
Yeah.
to wrap it up with, obviously you're a Lakers fan. I'm the worst Lakers fan because I'm a Shaq fan and a LeBron fan.
Nice.
I'm pulling for him now that LeBron's on the team, but before
Yeah.
it was like once Shaq left, I was like, nah, because I'm a Wizards fan, and
Okay.
you know how painstaking and brutal that is.
Yeah, that sounds horrible.
Once LeBron went over, I was like, all right, I don't mind if they win because I've been a LeBron fan forever.
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, it's the basketball playoffs have been so exciting. Like I love the bubble. I just love it.
I love the bubble, the absence of fans.
I think it's so cool. I think that they play so hard, and I think that there's less stress on the players to like play well, and the games have been like unbelievable.
Yeah, it seems a lot more intense and less about the entertainment factor or fans in their head, and it's almost more or less a competitive rec league pickup type feel. Obviously, the pro
Exactly.
players, but like you said, all that stress is gone, and
It's
the
been
focus
cool,
is just
yeah.
on the game. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for the regular version of the video here on YouTube. We talk about it in the bonus video. We're actually going to hold the bonus video until after the album comes out because Austin and Ira dive a little more into a song that's not out yet. So that'll come out a few days after the album. The album comes out on Friday, so look for this video next week. I'll put it up on all my pages. And as always, just please like, subscribe. Make sure you follow Movements, Austin, Ira. I'll put everything in the description. And thanks for watching the main video.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, Ryan.